Hello. So, I'm here to talk about how lonely it is to speak the truth. Because it is it's incredibly lonely. Right now I'm working in a profession which, I don't know, you go back a couple of years ago to my videos back then, and I'm like, oh, I'm leaving this profession, yeah, and I was so happy. And I got scared and I got sucked back into it. And I've got a lot of fear that I'm processing right now. A lot of crap that I'm processing. And so sometimes that which is safe becomes really attractive. And I think for a lot of us humans that we fall into these traps of safety, of comfort. I think I heard someone say once that comfort is, the biggest threat to humanity, because when we're comfortable, we don't want to make change, and then we just allow the status quo, which in reality, the status quo is allowing the powers that should not be to continue doing their evil doings, and suffering ensues. We end up suffering as a result of that. We're comfortable, but what about everything else that we can actually see is wrong? We can actually visualize with our eyes that that's not right. Case in point. I mean, if you eat meat, if you eat an animal, they had to die for you to ingest them. You know that, right? And yet, you munch away. I mean, I don't. I've been a vegan for many, many, many years, but I think about that all the time, and I'm not 100% not at fault for this, because right now I'm currently participating in this evil system where life is diminished, where life is treated like nothing. Life is just, something we can come and go, we can kill and reproduce and produce more and use that life for our own selfish means, and then let it die, let it wither away. That's how we treat everything on this planet. That is how we treat everything on this planet. So, as many of you know, in my last video, maybe you don't know if this is the first video you've seen since my return to the YouTube, but I have returned to the world of college level teaching of human anatomy and physiology. And in my core, I actually love teaching. I consider myself a natural educator, and I love sharing knowledge with others. I love helping other people understand how things work, and especially our own human bodies. I think that's something that we're all intimately connected to. How does our body work? What is it made up of? What are the parts? What are the pieces? What are the interworkings of the body? And I can explain that incredibly well. I've been teaching going on 19 years now. The college I'm teaching at now, this is, I don't know how many, this is my this is my fourth full-time job as a college professor. I've had other colleges here and there where I've taught part-time, but my fourth full-time job as a college professor. And I love a lot of it, and then there's parts of it that I absolutely hate. And the biggest part that I hate are the fucking dissections. Sorry that I cursed. But dissection needs to go. It really needs to go. So today, I had to do a dissection because, I don't know, I need to speak up more. I've got thyroid issues. I have fifth chakra issues. And part of me just wants to walk away from this whole system because it's sick. I mean, it's sick what I'm going to be teaching. I'm teaching humans to go into allopathy, which, as I mentioned in my last video, is a very sick entity. It's a disease maintenance system. It helps people stay sick but functional. Sick but functional. That's allopathy. And they like to name diseases, and they like to categorize everything and have a drug for everything, and then they're very much intertwined with the pharmaceutical company, which is also profiting off of your illness, off of your just wear and tear, basically, as you try to kind of keep afloat in this system of rule by the powers that should not be. And I'm participating in it. Why the fuck am I participating in it? Fear. It's all about fear. Trauma. I've been traumatized. And, you know, it's interesting because back in 2014, when I was just immersing myself in the teachings of Mark Passio, and I was on board, and I'm like, I'm gonna, you know, be a force to be reckoned with. And I went to Washington State, and I started the group, the meetup group, Free Your Mind Washington, and I met some amazing people up there, and then I just let it all collapse. I let it all collapse. My fear, my trauma, all of that just kind of, I don't know. But I remember once when I was learning Mark Passio's teachings, and I've listened to every one of his podcasts, I remember telling myself, or not even telling myself, maybe my higher self, I said, I want to be someone that just elucidates truth. And I want truth to be what I just kind of let rule me. And, you know, the pillars of truth are life and love. I think life is the incarnation of love. And those are what should be most respected. And I learned about natural law, and that is really all that really not controls us. Natural law doesn't control. It's a beautiful thing. Natural law helps us. It teaches us how to live in peace. And I was just in awe of all of this. And I don't know, everything, it's like almost like the universe threw every single test at me to see if I was really strong enough to carry this message forward. And as it turns out, I got knocked down hard, big time. But I'm not dead. I'm still alive. I'm still breathing, and I'm still here to carry on this message. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm here to share with you again, coming back to my original message here, that being in the position I'm in right now, it's incredibly lonely and frustrating, because you can see all around you just how mind controlled the masses are, and how they're just doing their due diligence of following those authoritarian orders that they feel so proud. They feel really vindicated, like, oh, I'm a good citizen. I voted. Yay. I voted for my fucking oppression. I voted for people to tell me what the fuck to do because I don't have a mind to do it myself. Why would you want to wear a sticker that says I voted? Why? I don't know why. But people do it. And people fall in line loving their oppressors. They love it. And they blindly follow without even seeing the truth all around them. They blindly follow the orders that they've been told to do. Oh, you're a cop, you better kill that brown person. Or whatever. You know, these idiots are just blindly following orders, and they're not thinking. We're not using the gift of our beautiful minds and our beautiful empathy. Most people have no empathy anymore. It's been so suppressed with all of the shit in the foods that we're eating, with the drugs, the pharmaceuticals, even the media. I mean, think about all of the lower chakra, you know, lower body drives that just kind of control people. Pornography, food, all of that crap. People are just letting themselves be ruled. And here I am, and I can see it. That's what really sucks. I can see it all around me, and I can see that I'm immersed in it. I can see that I am immersed in this system that is truly evil. And I feel shame. I feel 100% shame that today my students dissected a poor little innocent fetal pig. I heard one of my coworkers tell me, oh, you shouldn't feel guilty about dissecting fetal pigs because, you know, those pigs are just meant to be slaughtered, and they're just the babies that were in the slaughtered pig so that, you know, fucking fat-ass humans can eat their goddamn bacon. I'm sorry, I get so angry because none of this should be happening. We shouldn't be eating bacon. We shouldn't be oppressing these beautiful creatures that are here to teach us, as is all of nature. Natural law, nature, love, life, that is here as a beautiful teacher for us. And what do? We spit on it. We kick it. We dismiss it. And we sit in this delusion of happiness. And we're not happy. People are fucking oppressed. Suicide is going up. Depression is going up. People don't know how to connect. I mean, look at the millennials. I walk into a classroom, you know, if I compare me teaching now in 2018 versus when I started teaching in 2001, if I compare what it was like when I walked into a classroom, I remember the early years, my students were talking, they were chatting, the hallways were full of students talking and interacting with one another. Now I walked in the hallway, everybody's sitting down, looking down at their phone. Nobody's interacting with one another. If there is a student talking, maybe they're looking over and copying the homework that they have to turn in for some other class. I don't collect homework because homework is bullshit. And if you want to learn this, learn it because you want to learn it. Don't do fucking meaningless homework because I am some kind of, you know, authoritarian figure forcing you to do it. But it's the powers that should not be have really kind of done a good job. They've controlled the masses. The millennials, God help them. I really feel sorry for this genre of human beings. I mean, they're kind of mind fucked. No offense. And I have a lot of millennial friends. I love this group. Actually, I feel more connected to the millennials. Maybe there's something within me that feels like I gotta help this group. I had a lot of millennial friends when I was living in Washington, and I kind of, in a weird way, felt motherly to them because I was, you know, in my early 40s and they're in their 20s, and we're all hanging out, and I just kind of was learning from this group of individuals and seeing their struggles, and you know, they would share with me what they're dealing with and blah, blah, blah. And I just don't get it. I don't get the lack of how to connect. And the males, the poor male millennials who are just being told, I mean, the beta male, which I've heard as a term for a male that just kind of lets other people walk all over them. No men have the balls to kind of stand up and speak the truth. That needs to happen. And I don't know if I was in this group of people because I felt like I needed to help them. I needed to help them speak up, to open their fifth chakra, to be a force to be reckoned with. But a lot of males are just blindly stepping aside and letting the oppressors dictate their capacities. And it bothers me. And it's a very lonely, lonely place to be. So if you're a truther, you probably know. And you know, this whole name truther, it's so, I don't know, it's funny how the asses that are just totally delusional use truther like a derogatory term. Oh, are you some kind of truther? Do you mean, am I some kind of person that, I don't know, advocates truth? Yeah, I think the truth is pretty fucking important. I don't believe in solipsism. I don't believe in, like, that, you know, morality is subjective. I don't think the truth is subjective. I think it's an objective thing. There are things you can see that are right and things that you can see that are wrong. And if you think the truth is subjective, you're mind controlled. You know, I think I'll share with you something. This morning I was on the internet and I was watching this video and then I was looking at the comments underneath. And someone shared with me this website on feminism. And if you watched any of my previous videos, you kind of know how I feel about feminism. So I went through, and I'm going to pull this this document up. The only person I shared it with thus far is my boyfriend, and I want to share it with all of you because I thought it was pretty interesting where the feminists stand, you know, what they're advocating. So this was from a website, and this is from a website about feminism. And sorry it's taking me so long to get this up here. I'm trying to like do a split screen here, and my screen keeps messing with me. Okay, so this is from a website called Intersectional Feminism for Beginners. I shared this with my boyfriend this morning, and he was like, what the fuck does intersectional mean? I had to look it up too. Intersectional, apparently there is a hierarchy within feminism. So, you know, if you're a white feminist woman, you've got more privileges than a woman of color who's feminist. And a woman of color who's a feminist has more privileges than, let's say, a lesbian Latino feminist. And a lesbian Latino feminist has more privileges than a quadriplegic feminist who, I don't know, whatever. It's like there's this hierarchical system, and that's what intersectional feminism is. And anywho, I'm sitting there thinking, God damn, you guys create a lot of motherfucking issues in your own world because maybe, I don't know, you're not looking at the fucking issues that are out there for you to all embrace. You know, people dying, children being killed by our tax dollars, and cops killing dark-skinned people, and I don't know, there's a lot of shit that you could get upset with instead of your own goddamn issues. Okay, let me kind of read with you some of the list. This is from the Intersectional Feminism for Beginners. So here's a non-exhaustive list of some other things you can do online or on Tumblr to show you're striving to be intersectional. You're trying to be one of the good feminists. So the first thing that a good feminist can do, cut slurs out of your vocabulary. Well, my response to that is I'm not going to be Jewish with my vocabulary. I am not going to hold back words because they might offend somebody. I think there should be curiosity, and if I use a word, I use the word because it's got meaning behind it. I don't want to hurt any group of people. That's not my intention. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to say something just because I might offend somebody. People need to fucking get over it. I don't get offended, and people offend me all of the time. I'm a vegan. How many people fucking have said, ooh, bacon? Fuck you. Am I offended? Yeah, I think they're idiots, but I'm not going to go home and cry. It's going to make me want to make another vegan video and, you know, I don't know, foster some dogs. All right, number 2. Here's the other list, or the other bullet point here. Try to make your blog more accessible to folks with disabilities. I don't have a problem with helping someone that may need some assistance, but, you know, I don't like the word disability. I think a disability is something that is a gift that you can overcome and become a stronger person. So one thing that I will give to someone, anyone, disability or not, is I will help them become more imaginative. I think the power of imagination, the power of imagination is the power to see something that's not there and how to attain it. Create something that's not there. Don't go with the structures that are already in place. You've got a disability, figure a way with your powerful imagination to overcome it. And if you have that imagination, I will support you 100% because that's what we need more of. We need more imagination to fucking get this power that's suppressing us out of, you know, our knowing, out of our spectrum of all that is. Imagination is key. Okay, the next thing on the list that these feminists want us to make note of, tag lots for blacklist users. I have no idea what that fucking means. Tag lots for blacklist users. All I can say to that is if I post something is for all humans, it's for everyone. I don't know what they're talking about there. The next bullet point. Do not derail posts about a specific topic. Example, all lives matter. So I see all lives matter. Should that be a trigger for me? Because I think that's really what it's all about. All lives do matter. All races, all life on this planet, animal life, plant life, insect life, they all matter. All humans matter. This life is here because it's a beautiful expression of love. It's a beautiful expression of something miraculous that I don't understand, and I've been studying biology for my whole life. So I respect life. I respect it. I love life. I'm a vegan. I live a lifestyle of not hurting life. That's my whole expression of who I am. So if I see all lives matter, yeah, I agree with that. It's not a trigger point to me. Next bullet point. When reading studies, think, okay, so this affects white women in this way, but how does it affect Latin and black women? How does it affect women with disabilities? How does it affect animals? How does it affect the trees? Okay. They're coming on board. They're using some terms to see how it affects everyone. I respect that. But here's the big difference between anarchy and true veganism and feminism. Feminism, they might want to embrace all to kind of get people to sucked in on their side of how they think, their collectivist mindset. And there's the woe is me, we're being attacked, we're oppressed. Versus anarchy, which is freedom for all life, men, women, all races, all beings, anything that is capable of cellular respiration, producing ATP on their own. That's what I'm supporting. All right. So yeah, humans need to stop being so goddamn self-obsessed with their sex, with their gender, with their perceived disability. Like I said, use imagination to overcome the disability. Because honestly, folks, we have a real threat. It's called authority, and they're mind controlling you. And they express themselves in so many different facets: education, medicine, pharmaceuticals, government. That's the real threat. Those, entities that are coming across as being virtuous, which are not virtuous at all. Reblog problematic things with commentary. This one can be exhausting, but you have no idea how relieving it is to see that someone I followed reblogged what began as a really gross post with golden commentary. It makes you feel a lot safer. That really doesn't make any sense to me. More context, I think, for that one. Next bullet point, never send hate. I don't like hate. I don't want anybody to feel hurt. But let me put this out there. Dear feminists, dear New Age feminists, sometimes the truth hurts. So you get into your little collectivism box and you feel safe and comfortable there, and someone says something that rattles your box. Oh, woe is me. I better, go on a riot and not try to better myself, but just fight, and attack. That's where I see feminism. So, yeah, the truth can be hurtful, but it's also, in a loving way, needed. If the truth was a cast that helped you heal your broken limb, you don't need to wear that cast forever, because it's going to be bulky and big and just going to get in the way. Take the goddamn cast off and enjoy freedom. So sometimes you have to go through a little bit of discomfort to get to the other side. Next, sign petitions, signal boost fundraisers and charities, and donate where you can I think, donating is good as long as the money is not going to evil people, not going to evil movements. So if it's going to the government, hell no. The government gets enough money as it is. They're stealing all of our money through taxation and through making things more complex. I mean, how many goddamn forms do you need to sign to purchase something? How many middlemen do you need to go through to do any kind of interaction? It should be just between one person and another. All of the middlemen are government creations to make our lives more of a hassle, so that it takes away our precious time, so that we can't do videos like this and share the truth and help people break away from this evil goddamn system. Alright, next. Work on making your blog feel safe and comforting. Well, you know what? Like I said, we need to get away from comfort. At least for a while. Because as we break down these control systems and we try to eradicate the powers that should not be, things are going to be very uncomfortable. So if you're just trying to live in a world that's comfortable, you're part of the damn problem. Because you're probably continuing to eat meat, you're continuing to vote, you're continuing to take pharmaceutical drugs, you're continuing to put your children into mind indoctrination camps. Why? Because it's easy for you? You're a mom? I mean, the whole reason that both moms and dads have to work, it's because of the damn government. It's because of those assholes. They have created a situation where both parents have to work. I mean, back in the 1950s, only one parent had to work. And they earned enough so that the other parent could stay home and take care of the children so that they wouldn't be as fucked up as they are today. And I'm really scared because, you know, today's kids, it's scary. It's really scary. You know, those people that hear my message, if you are an enlightened millennial, God bless you. But you're going to have a lot more work to do in helping to turn people around because it's getting not so great out there. So yeah, screw comfort. And then last but not least, the last bullet point on this intersectional feminist for beginners. Work to make your feminism inclusive to trans and intersex women by eliminating sexist and intersex language. Use uplifting voices of trans and intersex women. And correct other people when they're being transandrogynous or intersexed. I've never seen so many goddamn adjectives. I mean, I went to this other website that was linked to this bullet point, and they had like fucking 3 pages of adjectives describing all of the letters in this movement. You know, it's fine. I support your ability to do anything you want. And I know you're going to come back to me, well, we live in a patriarchal culture and it's oppressive. It's only oppressive if you let it be oppressive. You have something called a mind that can transcend your perceived perceptions. And yet you just go inside and you create this world of abuse towards yourself. Really, if you were to step out of that, you would see there are systems of control out there that are abusing you. But you're just falling in line with some sort of perceived, I don't know, I can't even put it into words because your damn objectives are really getting to me. But you guys have terms for everything. I mean, who gives a fuck? It's just sex. It's between 2 people. Let 2 people, as long as they're not hurting anybody else, and that really should be your only criteria. What 2 people do together, or what more than 2 people do together, as long as no one is being hurt, as long as there is no harm, and the people involved are of sound mind and understanding, which I mean, you know, young children that may not understand yet what this is all about, or people with mental disabilities who may not understand what's going on, you shouldn't put them into situations where they're not ready for it, okay? I'm not a fan of child sex or anything like that. That's fucking disgusting as all fucking get out. Leave the kids, leave the animals alone. But if you're a consenting adult, whatever the fuck you do, who gives a shit? You don't have to give it a goddamn name. You don't have to wear a shirt that says I'm this or I'm that. Who gives a fuck? Do what you want to fucking do, okay? And, you know, if you want to get married, get married. I don't know why anybody wants to get married, because you're getting married to the goddamn state. And you are now set within limitations. So, anyway, it gets lonely where I am. I'm glad I have my YouTube channel to kind of help share how I feel about all of this nonsense. But I just spilt something. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day. Bye.